We're just gonna hope this works.
All right, you guys.
Welcome back for maybe the third or fourth time. Who knows? We're gonna jam it, and if it doesn't work this time, we're gonna record our episode and we're gonna distribute it to you guys.
We'll post
because you deserve some quality
as we
content.
have in the past.
That's right. In case you're just joining us, we've been having some technical issues here right from the get-go, man. Trying to figure everything out. But hey, that's what you get for we're live streaming. We're trying to switch to this. We're trying to do this. We're trying to do it big. So thank you guys for sticking by us and being here for us, rejoining us. Much appreciated. In case you missed it the first time,
you're going to be an expert at this.
Third time. This is the Snapcast podcast, episode 34, and
we are excited to be here with you today to talk about Magic the Gathering and Magic the Gathering related things.
We sure are. I just saw the message. We got disconnected again. We're just going to jam it. We're just going to go. We're recording it, man. We are a Magic the Gathering podcast. Brad said it best. And we are for the competitive Magic player with a casual interest in finance. And guess what? We've got some crazy news for you today, man. This is what it is. The internet just doesn't want us to talk about this news.
It's true.
YouTube is seeing this title, and it's like, we got to shut these guys down. We got to shut them down right now.
They wouldn't be able to handle the traffic.
That's right. And that is modern, air quotes, is coming to Arena.
Feels like it.
It really does, man.
I remember when Arena was launched and people were so upset that, Wizards didn't say day one, you could play Modern on this thing, and it's going to take forever.
Yeah.
It's not going to take forever.
No, it really isn't. So in case you guys don't know, they are bringing a whole bunch of new cards to Arena that are, pretty much, a lot of them were in Arena before in Ahmonket, but a lot of them are, they're mixing in some modern staples, which is pretty insane. Like, it's pretty insane when you think about it. Like
modern staples like Regal Caracal?
Like Regal Caracal. No, dude, I'm talking like Wrath of God. I'm talking like Rest in Peace. I'm talking...
Look at that Rest in Peace art.
Ooh, it's so beautiful.
Look at that Wrath of God art.
I'm talking Collected Company. That is being brought to Arena. I know this card was in Ahmonket, but Soulscar Mage is coming. It's coming to Arena, man. Like, it's so insane. That's so insane.
Yeah, there's our boy. Well, and what else is on here? Anger of the Gods.
Yup.
Let's switch back to this.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
This is so nuts. So Brad brought up a list here. These are all the cards that they're bringing in. Like, this is all coming to Arena.
Right now, so I'm on Goldfish, and I'm using Goldfish's selection set for Ahmonket Remastered. And then we've taken it down again to just right now, we're just looking at rares.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean...
Look at that. Approach of the Second Sun is coming in. And if you guys played Arena when this set was in, that was actually a thing back in the day. Back in the early days of Arena when this set was in it. Approach of the Second Sun was a deck. It was also a deck in Standard at that time too. Yep. But yeah, man, that's going to be interesting to see that in Historic. Solemnity. Whew, man.
Yeah. Well, and so these are coming to Arena as a draft format, and to add these cards to Historic, which is Arena's non-rotating format. It's sort of the Arena Pioneer or Arena Modern.
Yeah.
The thing is, there are cards being printed into this that are not in Pioneer.
Like what?
Oh, I knew you'd ask me that.
So the Pioneer is just what set does that start and stop at? Is it
Return to Ravnica?
Return to Ravnica. Wrath of God isn't in there, is it?
Nope.
No,
the best Wrath that you have right now, I think in Pioneers, you've got the 5-mana White Wraths, and then a couple of the like Bantu's. Mm-hmm. We probably just passed it.
Yeah, Bantu's is right here.
Bantu's Last Reckoning.
Yep. That's so dope.
But that hurts so bad.
God, this is so nuts. Shadow of the Grave. That's cool, man. I remember that being a cool card. Return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and this is putting all of the Ahmonket dual land cycling lands into historic.
Earthshaker Kenra's coming back. Oh man. Glorybringer, Anger of the Gods. Thoughtseize, by the way. This is what we're talking about.
Thoughtseize, and the arts that they put on these are incredible.
Are you seeing this? They're shifting all of these arts to be like Ahmonket based. And it's so cool, man. It makes you wonder if they're just going to like reprint these cards with these nasty arts, because they're not just going to keep these arena only, are they? Come on. It'd be a shame. Look at that Thoughtseize. That is a beautiful Thoughtseize.
It definitely is. That is a beautiful Anger of the Gods.
God, it really is, dude.
Hazaret. People love their Hazarets.
Oh, God, those are nasty arts. Love it. Absolutely love it. In case you hear a crying cat in the background today, Brad has acquired one of those. Cutest little kitten, but man, I thought mine meowed I thought mine meowed way too much, and holy, that thing let out like at least a 30-second whine.
How long have you been here? You'd think that I was beating it. Jeez. Look at that collected company.
Oh, that's so beautiful, dude. And did I see this? Hold up. Just scroll over a little bit. Are you guys seeing this? We're going to have Sweltering Suns and Anger of the Gods in historic.
Yeah, red removal, red board wipes in general are going to be good.
Exactly. Oh my God. Collected company, Hour of Promise. How close is historic to having like a Valakut deck without Valakut? I mean, it's got to be close.
Probably as close as Pioneer. I mean, some of the best Lands Matters cards came in this set. Like we were just looking at Hour of Promise. That searches up 2 lands of any type, puts them both onto the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Reminap Excavator, the Crucible of World with legs.
Yeah. God, this is beautiful, man. How much do you think this is gonna shake the format right here?
Oh.
Ooh. You guys seeing this? I'm
obviously talking about Hollow One.
Man, because that's funny you mentioned that, because I was just getting real excited about the card right next to it. Pact of Negation, man. See, so this is our theory, man. Like, this is our theory. You've heard so many people talking in the past, and they're so upset that Modern wasn't going to be an arena. And they're like, oh, and then other people are saying you can't bring Modern to arena because then, Magic Online is gonna flop, or no one's gonna have a reason to play Magic Online, which is kind of true. But what if Wizards is doing this? What if they're just bringing back just about every staple from Modern, and they're jamming it in arena?
Well, and so this is not WOTC's first remastered set, but this is the first one for arena where they've done a couple of historic anthologies that have brought, my girl Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, to arena.
Yeah.
In this set, they basically took the Ahmonket block, Hour of Devastation and Ahmonket, took the cards that actually got played, threw a few extra in to fill out the draft format, and then threw in cards that were in that set and some cards that weren't in that set, but cards that were in Ahmonket invocations like Thoughtseize and Wrath of God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Were all of these Ahmonket invocations, like the Rest in Peace? Was that there too? No?
And Lord of Extinction, that wasn't.
Wow, these cards are nuts, man.
All of the new arts are outrageous.
Wow.
They are. I heard somebody else talking about this, but I found it very interesting. They are adding like 3 different graveyard-focused mechanics into historic with this. Because you had the Embalm, you had Eternalize, and you had the Aftermath cards that played out of your graveyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a heavy graveyard focus on this set, man.
God, Pharaoh's Gift.
God,
Oh, that was so fun.
How are you guys feeling about them bringing all of these nasty cards into Arena? You guys liking the fact that they're mixing in some modern worthy cards? I mean, Brad and I were talking over dinner, which, by the way, this guy makes an amazing steak and chicken dinner. I'm
gonna stop the stream.
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not?
We can take the recording.
Yeah.
And load that up. But
yep. Yeah, man. Like, this is just insane. I might have to fire up Arena here and try to.
When's the last time you played Magic?
Jeez, man. Oh God, it has to be at least a month now.
Yikes!
It has to be at least a month. Like on Arena, I was doing good. You remember the time I was like starting up streams and I was trying to grind my way to whatever I could get to. I wasn't too passionate about Mythic, but like, yeah, the thing that I hate about grinding every season is just it resets every month. Like monthly seasons is kind of. I feel like they ought to at least go 2-3 months, like on a new set release or something for a season. Gosh, the monthly seasons are just too much. Just too much.
I think it is for somebody that doesn't play it every day.
Right.
If for somebody that plays it every day, having that sort of reset, refresh is probably worthwhile.
Yeah.
And you only get bumped back like one level.
Yeah. Oh, it's no doubt it's pretty good.
I have no idea. And actually, I thought about that on my ride today. When it comes to Arena, I'm a casual Magic player. I get on, I look at what my quests are for the day. Oh, I have to play 30 red, I have to play 25 red spells and kill a bunch of my opponent's creatures. Great, give me all the red removal.
Right.
Throw it in a deck,
yeah.
Throw some creatures in there, hope I win. Or I go to Goldfish and I'm like, okay, what's the newest mono green list? If I have to play 30 creatures and 20 lands and 5 green spells, I just go find a green deck, copy and paste it into Arena. I'm usually like 2 cards shy, and I either make them or I just replace them with something else that seems like a reasonable.
Oh yeah, I used to have this deck for those. Well, I do the same thing. I'll say that first. Like I only cared about getting the gold, getting the packs, and meeting the challenges, just because I knew that I was like, I'm never gonna grind hard enough to be like high level Mythic. I just know I'm not gonna do it. So I would only care about just getting the gold, getting the packs, getting, the most value out of playing for that day. I built this deck once I called it Level Down Green, because I knew that whenever I played it, I was going to level down. It was so terrible, but it was only to meet challenges because there was so many green challenges at that time. Like I feel like every challenge I got had something to do with green. Play this many green spells. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah. And so I have... when I boot up Arena, I have Goldfish Red, Goldfish Green, Goldfish Black.
Oh.
And so on there where I have no investment in the cards actually having value, I'm totally a casual Magic player. And it's very interesting because I don't think of myself as a casual Magic player. Like I devote way too much of my week to thinking about cards and decks and playing the game. Pandemic has been weird, but that aside, it definitely consumes a lot of my time. I would not think of myself as a casual Magic player.
Yeah, no, I mean, not at all. But I think that really changes. Like if you come to the point where you're like, okay, I'm not going to compete heavily on Magic Arena. I think at that point we all just turn into casuals, I'm using the scroll wheel here, but it's a little slow. So, dude, we're plowing through some more of these things that are coming to Arena. Look at all these split cards coming back. Cut to Ribbons. You guys remember that? God, that was one of the best removal spells back in the day. Like, this was one of the best removal spells.
Just game closer, because it was good early and good late.
Yeah, I mean, I remember running a mono red deck that splashed in black just for that card. So that later on, you could be like, all right, yeah, well, I got to finish out the game. Ribbons from the grave. Even if it was for 4 or 5 damage, like, great. That's all you need. Yeah, it was really cool, man. I loved that card. Question is, what if they bring this stuff to, do you think they'll ever bring these Arena formats to, real big events?
I did, actually earlier today listening to another podcast, and they posited this theory that historic is going to be so popular because it's what most people can play, that SCG might very well next year, once we can all go to big events, they could have a historic open.
Wow.
I think it would be just so hard for most people to understand what the legal sets are, because you can't go by sets. So you asked me earlier, when did Pioneer start? Pioneer started at Return to Ravnica. Anything that was printed in a standard product from Return to Ravnica till now is in Pioneer. When did Modern start?
8th edition.
8th edition forward. Anything that's not banned or has, anything that's not banned that has been printed in a standard set is Modern legal.
Or a Modern Master set.
Or a Modern Horizons is the only one that put new cards into Modern.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
A Modern Master set, they're all reprints. They're cards that were already printed in a standard legal set, right?
Like a set that was introduced new, that specifically introduced cards to the format, or standard. Yeah. So if if it was in any standard set after 8th edition or Modern Horizons, then it's legal in there.
Well, and how often do we have players that come into Modern events? Really, so legit casuals that come in with their deck in a sandwich bag. And every time you see somebody that comes in with a deck in a sandwich bag, you're going to be telling them, oh, Chain Lightning isn't Modern legal.
Yep. Oh, man.
It happens every time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Wait, what was the one that I feel like there was one recently in a shop that someone busted it out, and I was like, dude, there's no way that's I've seen someone try to bust out a sinkhole in Modern before, and it's like, okay, your deck probably won't beat me anyway, like,
but
but at the same time, like, you got to rethink this. And it was like the new reprint, like the new art and everything, so it looked new. It looked like it should be in Modern, but it's
not.
Sorry, bud. Sorry.
And so when you say, okay, well, what's in historic? F if I know. Like whatever Wizards has decided that they want to put into it. But that gets us, we've come full circle, sort of back to the point of this whole cast tonight. They keep putting a lot of the choicest cards in Pioneer and Modern into Arena. And even if they're only doing it 5, 10, 12 at a time, or 16 with a one of those collections that they put on, what the hell are they called?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, where they just re-release one of the older sets or bring one of the older sets in, or...
No, the anthologies. Anthologies.
Yeah. Yep.
Geez. Anyway, we're
having
where they...
mental and technological glitches today. No big deal.
Seriously.
Bear with us.
Being thrown off. But, yeah, the historic anthologies.
Yeah.
So, where I got to play Thalia, where I got to play Meddling Mage in historic, because they just programmed those cards into the system. Now we've got Collected Company and Thoughtseas and Wrath of God, and
it's crazy. I wonder how many times they'll actually have to do that. Like you said, doing 10 to 15 at a time. How many more times will they have to do that before bringing Modern staples into historic, before Modern is basically on Arena? It's probably not that many more times, because if you think about it, a lot of the stuff in Modern, like the lands, and some of the bigger cards have been, like a Court of Calling. They've been printed in the last few sets that are already on Arena. Now, if you take 10 or 16 cards every few months and you throw them in historic, and those 10 to 15 cards happen to be Modern staples, you probably ain't going to do that more than 5 or 6 times before the entire Modern format is in historic. I mean, think about it. Can you think of 100 cards that are not currently on Arena that are Modern staples? that, you know what I mean? Like, think of 100 cards that aren't on Arena,
Yeah.
that are modern staples.
I think most of us could get a pretty far down a list like that.
Oh, for sure. I could probably name 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Like, but then after that point, it's like, well,
really,
what decks am I not thinking of at this point?
I mean, I know people that are excited about playing Spirits on Historic because it's almost the modern Spirits deck.
And you were saying, like, in Humans Historic, you're missing Aether Vial.
Aether Vial and Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So it literally, there's an entire Humans deck that they can...
Noble Hierarch
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Champion of the Parish. So I might be a little bit fudging it, but that's 4 cards.
That's 4 cards, like literally 1/3 of like one of these releases. And they can get all of Humans, all of modern Humans into Historic.
Yeah.
I mean...
And that doesn't... We're talking about like special releases, but they also do reprints in standard sets.
Yeah.
So we have Zendikar return to whatever.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Fetch lands. You have the fetch lands, the shock lands.
Nope, no fetch lands.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry.
I'm talking about the new Zendikar set that's coming.
Okay.
They're pretty certain that they're not printing fetch lands into standard.
But they could still introduce them slowly into Historic. You think they'll do that? Or what if they did modern without fetch lands, introducing like those cards in Historic, but without the fetch lands?
Well,
they're like, let's just see how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, so that's like your question about what's in Pioneer that isn't in, or what's in Modern that isn't in Pioneer. There's quite a bit, but fetch lands is the big one.
Yeah, fetch lands, Blood Moon.
I could see them doing fetch lands on Arena just because there is no shuffling, like that happens in the box.
Yeah.
But I think that they want to get away from that in general.
Yeah, I think initially it made sense at the time because you had like a lot of... I mean, the time they printed fetch lands, they were still doing like the ranked... like you would be ranked in your state for
Elo.
like it was like the old school style of Magic the Gathering where like if it wasn't worth your risk of going and playing a tournament, you know, for losing your position, you just wouldn't play. So it encouraged people to not play, which is why they switched away from that system. But that's when fetch lands came out originally, like in the Onslaught block and all of that. They still had that sort of setup.
Yeah.
So you had very mathematically calculating people that were playing the game that were like, okay, I can rip a land out of my deck, and you know that makes my odds of drawing this better. So like I seriously think they were pandering to that with those. And now it's like, okay, well, the consistency of Magic is a lot better now, too. So do we really need fetch lands? Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's also something that they're thinking of. Like, it is
interesting.
It is very awkward to have a lot of people, like, you know, running lands like that if you're a new player.
I wonder if that's why we haven't seen very many fantastic cantrips. Because you don't need to tear through your deck to get to the 4 really good cards. Like, okay, I got 4 Jaces and some counter spells and a bunch of other stuff. I got to get to those cards. So I'm going to play a bunch of cantrips that just get me to the good cards.
Right. It's more like, let's play the game and actually rely on the goodness of the deck in general. I can see that, man. I can see it kind of, you know, moving towards something like that. But either way, Modern is coming to Arena.
Well, and certainly Pioneer. So I'm intrigued, and I know that our fantastic listeners will comment and say, hey, this is a card that is on Arena right now that isn't in Pioneer. Muxus. Goblin Grandy. There you go. The Jump-Start stuff that is on Arena is not Pioneer legal. If it wasn't already.
What? Wow. Yeah.
So Jump-Start in a paper set was a specialty set that added cards to Legacy, Vintage, Commander.
Yeah.
Or the set that they were, or the format that they were already legal in.
Yeah.
And that whole set is on Historic. So Selvala, Heart of the Wilds.
Mm-hmm.
That was from Conspiracy. That's not in Pioneer. but you can play that on Arena.
Huh. Yeah. I mean,
So that's the one that just came to my head.
Right. But I mean, even thinking like that, right? Let's say we take the fetch lands out and they never bring those to historic or whatnot, right? Like, that just makes it even quicker that they can bring the entire modern format, with the exception of fetch lands and certain cards, to historic. And how about this too? Think of this. That is sort of a esoteric name. Historic, right? Like, think about this: legacy, vintage, historic.
That fits a lot more than modern.
It sure does. Like, so I'm wondering, like, they could really go back with this. They could bring in cards into this format that aren't even legal in modern. You know what I mean? Like, they could bring Wasteland to this. You know, they could do some crazy, crazy shit with this. So
Magma Quake. What was that printed in besides the commander printing that they're showing here?
Magma Quake deals X damage to each creature without flying in each planeswalker for double red and X. I have no idea what that was printed in.
So, live vicariously through us, listeners. I think the problem with the stream might have been my internet. My internet's being weird.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Apologies if you got like a million notifications that we went live on this day.
So Magma Quake was printed in M13. So that is in modern.
Yep.
That looks like that was the last...
Like legit standard
printing.
printed. Yep.
So that is in modern, but is not in Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
And is on Arena.
Wow. Also, what about the Dual Caster Mage too? Was that one that was... Is that in Pioneer? It's definitely in Historic, right? Because I saw some combo deck running the Quasi Duplicate and Dual Caster Mage, and I thought that was so cool. But yeah, it's just another one of those things. I think it was printed in a Commander set. I don't think it was ever in Standard, was it? Yeah, who knows? But either way, you're right. Like, they just keep they keep bringing these cards.
Phyrexian Tower. Is that legal in modern?
Hell no. I don't think it is, right? I'm pretty sure if that was legal in modern, people would be running that card.
Exactly.
I feel like that's too broken not to run in modern if it was legal. Phyrexian Tower. Yeah, we're looking it up right now.
We are fact checking ourselves, baby.
Yep.
Sets and legality.
Yep. It is.
Legacy Vintage Commander.
Yep. It's definitely not modern.
It doesn't say historic here. I think pretty soon we're going to see historic listed on.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. Because that's... So, yeah, this is in historic, right? Phyrexian Tower?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
This is exactly what they're doing. Tell me this isn't what they're doing with historic. Like, they're making an eternal format that is the best of the best in all of these. So you might very well see basically all of modern come to this format and the best parts of legacy.
Not too long.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't really take much. So all of the people that are like, yeah, they're never going to bring modern. It's too much programming. Just think of all of the art that they would have to make. Nah, they have to make 15 cards at once and bring some of the best modern staples back every few months.
Is Chromatic Sphere in Pioneer?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
God, man. Yeah. So you're looking up historic decks right now?
Yeah, so I'm on Goldfish. We're looking at historic deck lists.
My God. What are the... Wow, this breakdown is pretty dope, too. It tells you, like, percent of the metagame. Teamer Reclamation is 10%. Something's going to catch a ban from that. Jund Sacrifice. All of this stuff is from recent sets.
Yeah, and they're just throwing, like, Phyrexian Tower in Sacrifice.
God damn, that's so good.
Um,
God, that's so good. Do you think they're bringing all of these cards back into historic, like all of these modern staples, just because they're sick of banning cards and they're sick of like taking cards out? So they're just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's right. All of these recent decks that are pretty broken are in here. How about we just shake it up and add some Collected Company, some Thoughtseize?
I think that they know that most players like the client better. Like they want to get away from Moto.
Yeah.
So they are totally incentivized. As much as people are impatient about them doing it, like people wanted Pioneer on Arena at launch. That's just not reasonable. But if you look at the rate that they've added cards in the last year, I mean, I know Arena now has been around probably close to 2 years from the public beta to now. What's it going to be? Another 2 years before, like you said, the top 100 cards from Modern, the top 100 cards from Pioneer, they can be on Arena in 2 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the very most. Like, I mean, all it's going to take is for them to just get impatient and be like, all right, here's 25 cards this time of like, and it's not much.
Yeah.
It's not much, but it only takes a handful of times of them doing that before you have an entire format.
Or them just to decide, hey, we're going to release double masters a year from now. And it's double masters because every card in this master set is going live on Arena.
Oh, man.
And you can draft it.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, this is interesting. I'm really curious to see where this goes with Historic. I mean, if that is their goal, I say great. More power to them. Do it.
But do you think the goal is are they going to maintain Standard, Historic, Pioneer, Modern,
Legacy, Vintage?
Legacy and Vintage, they don't care about now.
Yeah, they've kind of let those go anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they throw you a bone in a Commander product or in a something like a Conspiracy set.
Yeah.
But, well, and I say that as they're getting ready to release the Commander-focused product that's going to put the most new cards probably into Legacy and Vintage that have happened in years.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
But they're not worried about people playing that. They're not.
Yeah.
When was the last time Underworld Breach was banned in Vintage not that long ago. But I mean, even that was pre-pandemic. So I haven't heard anything about Vintage or Legacy in 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a format that people almost entirely played online.
Oh yeah, through
Moto.
Yeah, Moto. Because your dual lands were like 10 tickets as opposed to $400.
Yeah, don't get me started. That's I think that's my next phase of the evolution of Necrosar.
Oh yeah, it's got to be, dude. Getting the dual lands. You got to do it. You got to do it now. By the way, Brad just picked up a Wheel of Fortune, man, for his collection.
I did.
Friggin' right. The card you've been looking for in Necrosar for so long.
Yeah.
On the reserve list, it's getting increasingly harder to hunt down. This guy got one. Thanks to the help of some good friends.
Yes.
Yep.
Thanks to first guest ever on the podcast, actually.
Waldemar. Yeah.
He knew that I was interested, and he said, "Let me look at your trade binder. I'll find enough stuff."
Good dude.
Remarkably, he was able to. He is a great dude.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, it's a good card. In case you guys don't know, Wheel of Fortune is a show that I was on. No, it's
This is also true.
Also
don't
true.
Don't hurt yourself patting yourself on the back, though.
But it's a 3 mana card, 1 red, 2 colorless, and it just says all players discard their hands and draw 7 new cards. So when you're running Necrosar and you're punishing people for drawing cards with direct damage, God, it's so good. I mean, and he just put Mana Crypt in that deck too, so he can turn 1 land, Mana Crypt, Wheel of Fortune, and just wreck his opponent's hands. Think about that. You have to discard your hand and draw 7 new ones, turn 1, turn 0. Before you even lay a land down, you might get land screwed in that hand, and there's nothing you could do about it. That's so broken, man.
I have been playing the same Commander deck for, 4 years, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I have made some upgrades to the deck, and I've put some foils in the deck, but I have never tried to make it competitive. I've never said, okay, what do I have to do to this deck so that it wins consistently? And I always find myself I'm one turn away from winning the game, or one resolved spell away from winning the game, and Muller always has a force of negation or something for. There was a kitty.
I know, man. She got right up here. We were calling her up here before. I think she's still skittish. She doesn't know if she can get up here.
She hasn't learned the intro to the podcast yet, even after you did it 4 times earlier.
Yep, she's gonna need some practice.
So speaking of reprints, I know. So we didn't want to go right into Double Master stuff because we've talked about Double Masters for like the last 3 weeks.
Getting old, right?
It's getting old, but you know what's not getting old? Cheap prices.
Oh yeah.
These things are available online. They are available on the Facebook pages. They're available on eBay. I'm saying this right now. Now is not the bottom for the regular pack rares and uncommons.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want the special tasty items, I think in the next week to week and a half is your time to buy.
Oh, for sure.
Before they start going up. This was a super hype product. Everybody ordered as much as they got. The stores are not getting any more for a considerable period of time. When they do come out with a second wave, it's not going to be as big as the first. And most of the people that are cracking this stuff want to keep the cards.
Yeah.
Or they're pitching them right now to recoup their money.
Oh, for sure.
So those we talk about, sometimes there are the people that really want to sell their cards and the people that kind of don't want to sell their cards. Avid listener of this cast, good friend of the podcast, Jason Clark. He had some stuff. He immediately flipped 3 or 4 cards, paid for all of the rest of his cards are free. That's
so nuts. But I mean, I can't get behind this being the bottom. Like, look at Force of Will here, $95 here
for the regular pack.
For the regular like Force of Will from the pack, that you can't tell me that's the bottom.
No, and that's so that's what I was saying. Like the regular stuff that you're going to get in packs.
Yep.
I think there's still time for those to go down. I don't think now is like the time to jump on those. I think that they'll be as available in a month as they are now. But what I don't know that the Borderless Sword of Feast and Famine, sadly, is going to get a whole lot cheaper.
Oh, for sure.
And this might be one of those things that in a month, I'm on my hands and knees saying, please forgive me because you spent $108 on this card and it went down to $90.
Yep, I wouldn't do it, dude. Like those are going down so much more, dude. This set
you think
was
so?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think like which ones were rarer? The non-foils? Were those the ones that the non-foil box toppers were technically more rare? Was that what it was?
There's some uncertainty about that.
Okay.
But that was an operating theory by many people on Reddit and on Twitter that the non-foils were actually going to be more rare because they didn't print as much of it as they were going to, and that WOTC was really trying to push the VIP thing.
Yep.
But you could only get the foils in the VIP boosters. You can only get the non-foils in a box.
Yep. Interesting. Right. So, yeah. But even if you just think of the regular versions of these, right? Like, I mean, what, a month ago, you would have to pay $80, $75, $80 for a regular Stoneforge. And now you can get this friggin' borderless full art one right here.
Really that much?
I think they went up to that high. I mean, that was the peak, like the absolute peak. But they still kind of hovered around like $65. And now you can get a borderless full art for cheaper than that was. Just think about the original cards, like what that original Stoneforge has gone down to. Like, let's check that out. Like, what is that at?
Well, like the original printing of Stoneforge?
Yeah, or even, I'm not sure if it was reprinted after that before this set, was it? Some special promo I know was, but
yeah, because we talked about why do you keep doing that?
But my point is, like, the original cards. Yeah, look at this, dude. You can get them as low as $26, $24.
Man, they really don't like those Judge promos.
Yeah, Judge promos for $15. Oh my God, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Is if
That
you're
might
just
be
trying
the
to
thing for me to get.
right, like if you're just trying to pick these up for your collection, dude.
Oh, look at the Grand Prix promo. What?
Oh man.
That's interesting. Okay, so this doesn't actually exist.
Okay.
There's no listings.
Okay.
That makes way more sense.
All right.
But
so,
still,
yeah,
the
30
Grand
bucks.
Prix promo they're saying it's listing at the same, and again, I use TCG Player because it's easy, but that it's basically the same price as the regular World Wakes.
God, that's so nuts, man. So what I'm saying is, if you need these cards in your collection and you like want to play them, you don't care what they look like, such as me. Like I'm that type of player. I don't care if I got 3 cards that look different and 2 that look the same.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I don't care. Like I just want them so I can say that I can play with them. You know what I mean? And this would be the time. Like those cards. Now everyone's trying to recoup their investments, like what you're talking about.
So you think that the Double Masters Stoneforge 2413 proportionally is still going to drop further than that sword?
I mean, I think it'll drop proportionally, but you got to think of it this way: is people aren't thinking about these cards right now. The fact that there is such a difference in the original version of that and the new printings of it should tell you something. It should tell you that the new ones are overpriced. You know what I mean? It should tell you that there's an option. Someone can get a pretty comparable one for a lot cheaper. So like, no matter what, like you're always going to have those players like me out there that are just like, I just want to play it.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? I just want to
you.
play it. I don't care what I pay for it. Like, I just want to play it. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. So are people looking now at the World Wake one that's 32 and just saying, oh, give me the $25 Double Masters one?
probably, yeah. I mean, hell, I would.
So if people are buying them at 25 because the other printings are more expensive, they're going to stay at that price.
The recent printings?
Right.
Or-
So the Double Masters is right here for 2413,
Oh, yeah.
right? And then the World Wake is right next to it for 32.
Right.
Which one is going to sell more copies?
Oh, for sure. It's going to be the Double Masters.
Okay, so then why would anybody lower their price?
Well, because what we're talking about is like this. You see what I mean? Like, yeah, okay. What I mean by original printings, I'm sorry, I kind of phrased that wrong, is like the standard art. You know what I mean? Like the not so flashy stuff.
Okay, so you're talking about this versus the box top, right?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. So like this stuff right here and versus this right here. Yeah, exactly. I would buy this all day. Like if I didn't care, because if I really cared and I wanted a foil, I'm going to buy something that's way more expensive, way more flashy. If I wanted to foil out my deck, this is going to drop in price. You can see it already. As low as $26. Yeah, market price of 32, but as low as someone's catching on to that. And they're like, yeah, okay, everyone's going to buy this. I'm just going to put a little premium over here. They're catching on to it already.
Well, these are perfect substitutes. To go back to something that we talked about many podcasts ago.
Yeah.
Like the World Wake Stoneforge is a perfect substitute for the Double Masters Stoneforge and vice versa.
Right.
So if they both serve exactly the same function and they even have the same art, the market of Andrew Michaud's that want the little World Wake symbol on it and are willing to pay $10 more a copy are few and far between.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I can understand some certain cards like Force of Will. You can't really make that same comparison because the original art is far different than anything they've ever made. It's iconic. It's sort of like the Tarmogoyf conundrum, right? Like the original Tarmogoyf art has never been reprinted and it's very iconic. So a lot of people desire that. It's actually maintained a higher price through all of its reprintings.
From the Time Spiral or whatever, the
Future Sight.
Future Sight.
Yeah. It's consistently maintained a higher price.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, and part of that is that whole card frame.
Right. Yeah, the card frame is nuts. Just the esoteric nature of the picture. Like, what the
I
hell is that
actually like
thing?
the Modern Masters art better
Yeah.
than the original, but that card frame, oh, that's spicy.
Man, I like the art better in Tarmogoyf, the original Tarmogoyf. It's just That's the classic player.
I have no idea I have no idea what's going on in that art.
Exactly. That's the thing. You have no idea what it is. It's an enigma, and suddenly you're getting cracked for 5 damage for 2 mana. You're like, what the hell just happened? Like, what is this thing? Like, it just sums up the card perfectly. You know what I mean? It's.
I'm glad I didn't have any distasteful tabs open. And then you have the Ultimate Masters art. That's a whole another ball of wax.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. I will be surprised if this drops more than, say, 25% of where it is.
Oh, for sure.
But
and I guess
I'm sorry. I take that back. I think that this may we're looking right now at the regular printing rare copy of Stoneforge Mystic. They're saying market price is $24.
Mm-hmm.
I will be surprised if this goes down another 25%. Could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
Blue-white is doing well, so that factors in a lot. Yeah. But the actual promo printing, the borderless one, I don't think is going to drop 25%.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, I think all of these special versions are probably going to stay there for a while. They definitely will drop. But what I'm saying is, like, if you're just trying to pick them up for your collection, go get the regular ass version of these that like no one's focusing on right now. You're just like, oh, I mean, we even saw it in your video. You remember that? You just cracked a regular Stoneforge Mystic. You're like, oh yeah, I just cracked it.
About it.
Yeah. You're just like, I cracked a Stoneforge here. Like, okay, pack was all right. It's like, if that would have just been any other pack and Stoneforge would have happened to have been in it,
I would have been pretty excited.
Right. You've been like, oh my God. But no one's focusing on those. Like the regular printings. It's all about these full arts, these foils. Like,
I see where we're having a disconnect in this conversation. I agree. We've talked a lot in the last few weeks. If you want to add cards to your collection and you don't care about the printings, those are the copies to get. The cheaper in the pack Stoneforge Mystic is going to save you money. Are you saying buy that this week, next week, or 3 weeks from now?
Well, that's a good question. I'm saying keep your eyes on it. Like,
that's hedging bets.
I'm saying it could be a sign that like the prices will drop even more. Like, you know what I mean? I think those cards might be maintaining some of their price because of the overinflation of these other cards. It suggests that there's more out there, there's options, and if you think about it this way, people will buy those cheaper versions, right?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to the higher priced ones if they're just looking to get them in their collection. And the price of the high-end ones will go down. And then the cycle repeats itself because
in theory,
the price of the higher ones goes down, right? And it won't ever match the regular one. But then if people are like, you know, they'll the same players as me will be like, okay, so I can buy a regular Stoneforge for this, or for $5 more I can buy the foil full art. Like, yeah, absolutely I'll buy that. And then it will kind of balance out and drop a little more. That's all I'm saying is like I think we're seeing the start of a weird cycle that's going to happen right here. Where like people have options and they're going to buy the cheaper ones that no one's focusing on, which will drop the price of the higher ones and, you know, of these special edition ones. And it's just going to be this weird trickle down cycle until it gets to a real price point. In my opinion, this is what I say. Keep your eyes on it until the foil version of that card, right? Until the foil version of it is worth about double the regular version of it. And then at that point, it's probably correct. Like, it's probably at its correct price point. That would just be my like anecdotal, that's probably where I would be. Okay, this is leveled out and this is perfect.
So obviously the Snapcast podcast is not a hard fast data podcast. We've done some data digging on our picks, but I also think in this set we're looking at something that they've never really done before. And so in a regular set, maybe that would be true where there's a masterpiece version in there. But in those cases, those masterpieces are a little bit more I would say substantially more rare than other versions of the card. So, like, if we go back to Kaladesh and we talk about Torrential Gear Hulk. Torrential Gear Hulk was a mythic in the set. Torrential Gear Hulk also had an invention, Masterpiece Edition, that nobody really wanted to open. But that in this product, you have people that are buying a $100 box specifically to get specific foil cards that they want. All of the foil uncommons are going to tank because every one of those VIP boosters has 8 foil uncommons. So if you've ever wanted Basalt Monolith, get your damn first time ever printed in foil Basalt Monoliths. They might get cheaper next week. They're cheap enough right now.
Yeah.
I think that these are not going to track the same way that you've historically seen them.
I mean, you could be right. You could be right.
I think if we were to look at, and maybe we can take some notes and say, okay, the foil Stoneforge Mystic borderless right now is $63. What do we looked at the other one? It was $25. As a percentage, how much more do they each have to drop? Because
20% official guess.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think that these borderless ones are going to get much cheaper. I think that the other versions are.
Yeah.
So if you want the regular, and this is Brad, if you want to follow Brad's predictions, if you want the regular Stoneforge Mystic, wait 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wait 3 weeks. Yep. If you want the promos, the difference between the price now and 3 weeks is not going to be as drastic.
Yeah.
So you might pay $5 more, but you know that you got it, and you got it right away, which, I'm impulsive. I think it is just as likely that this goes down $10 as it is up $10 when we do the podcast next week.
Interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on it, man. I'm so pumped. So pumped to see how our predictions pan out here.
Pumped predictions
Pan out.
This has been fun, man. It is always fun. You have been listening to the Snapcast podcast with Mike Cooley, COOOLEY, on Twitch and YouTube.
And Twitter.
That's
right. If you guys haven't already, smash that subscribe button for us. Really helps us out in these YouTube algorithms, especially after we probably just spam the internet with so many attempts to go live here. We appreciate all the support you want to give us.
We really do. Spread the podcast.
Not the plague.